It was a time of silence, a time of drought. For 3 long years, not a drop of rain had fallen on the land of Israel. The skies, once abundant with clouds, now seemed like an empty expanse of brass. Rivers had turned to dry beds, crops withered, and the people cried out in despair. But amidst their suffering, they had turned not to the God of their fathers, but to the idol Baal, seeking salvation from a God that could not answer. And then came a whisper, a mysterious figure walking into the palace of King Ahab. His robe was worn, his face rugged from years in the wilderness, but his voice carried the authority of heaven. "I am Elijah," he declared, "and I serve the Lord, the God of Israel. Summon all of Israel to Mount Carmel, along with the 450 prophets of Baal and the 400 prophets of Asherah who eat at Jezebel's table. There, we will see who is the true God." Imagine the scene on Mount Carmel. The people of Israel climbed the rugged hill, their hearts filled with curiosity and skepticism. In the center stood an altar to Baal, surrounded by his priests clad in ornate robes. Opposite them stood Elijah, alone, with an altar in ruins at his side. Elijah's voice rang out over the crowd. "How long will you waver between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him. But if Baal is God, follow him." 1 Kings 18:21. The people were silent, unsure of what to say. Elijah set the terms. "Bring 2 bulls. Let the prophets of Baal choose one and prepare it, but not set fire to it. I will do the same. Then call on the name of your God, and I will call on the name of the Lord. The God who answers by fire, he is God." The prophets of Baal agreed eagerly. They prepared their altar, laid the bull upon it, and began to call upon their God. "Baal, answer us," they cried. From morning until noon they danced, shouted, and even cut themselves until blood flowed. But there was no response, no fire, nothing. At noon Elijah mocked them, his voice filled with irony. "Shout louder. Surely he is a god. Perhaps he is deep in thought, or busy, or traveling. Maybe he is sleeping and must be awakened." 1 Kings 18:27. Elijah rebuilds the altar. When evening came, it was Elijah's turn. With steady hands, he rebuilt the altar of the Lord using 12 stones, one for each tribe of Israel. He dug a trench around it, arranged the wood, and placed the bull upon it. Then, in an act of audacious faith, he commanded, "Fill 4 large jars with water and pour it on the offering and the wood." This he repeated 3 times until the trench was filled with water. Elijah stepped forward and prayed, "Lord, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, let it be known today that you are God in Israel and that I am your servant. Answer me, Lord, so these people will know that you are God and that you are turning their hearts back again." 1 Kings 18:36-37. Then it happened. A fire from heaven fell and consumed the offering, the wood, the stones, the soil, and even the water in the trench. The crowd fell to their knees, their voices trembling as they cried out, "The Lord, he is God! The Lord, he is God!" 1 Kings 18:39. The prophets of Baal were seized, and the people of Israel began to turn their hearts back to the true God. Shortly after, Elijah prayed, and the heavens opened, sending rain upon the parched land.